on a second. I'm going to start recording. There we go. I'm going to start recording so that everyone hearing the future recording of this NFT can benefit from our wonderful morning conversations. Super quick, just to put it on the recording for people who are coming in. This is the AMA for Barnyard Fashionistas. Hi guys. We're starting with a few minutes of community chat before we start getting into everything. We've got a whole bunch of topics laid out about the project, the future of the project, things that we have going on and everything. And Tardis has just told us a wonderful story about NFTs with her kids in kindergarten specifically, not her kids. I'm not building you an instant family, Tardis.
I mean, basically, when you work in childcare.
It happens. Also, hi, Cass, hi, Bounty, welcome. Um, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them into main chat while we're talking. And while we're getting started, anybody else have any stories about their? Oh, and hi, Dylan.com. Welcome. Oh, Bree, would you tweet out with a link that we are starting our Barnyard Fashionistas chat? I'll send you a link to.
I tweeted a link to our
Oh,
Discord
that perfect.
a half hour before.
Hey, so since we're all sharing stories about sharing Barnyard Fashionistas, I have one too.
Awesome. What is it, Hippie?
Yeah, I have to be a little bit vague with this. Sorry about that, but I have to be.
Okay.
So one of my friends is in the business world, and he's connected with two NBA players that may or may not be on the top 50 greatest of all time list.
Wow.
And they potentially might be starting something in the NFT world.
Oh, great.
And he was hypothetically very intrigued with the fashionistas.
Oh, that's really interesting. Listen, if you want to connect us offline, I'd be happy to chat with him.
Yeah. I can give you some more information another time.
Wonderful. One of the big things that we're going to be talking about today is, hold on a second. I'm making note of that. One of the big things we're going to be talking about today is kind of like community involvement and what we can all do and things that we're going to be having like prizes for community activities, which is why I'm so glad that Milo's here too. Yay! Milo's our amazing giffer. Ooh, wait, hold on a second.
Hi, Milo, you're awesome. I love Milo. I have to say it.
Hold on a second. I just got, ooh, that's exciting. Couple of hours. I'm starting in AMA, our NFT project. So I just got a text message from one of our concept artists, or for a concept artist I know who I worked with on Sky Captain the World of Tomorrow and some other stuff. And we're talking with him this weekend. That's another thing I'm going to be talking with you guys about. That's really awesome. Anyone else have any fun stories about sharing their chickens? Cass, Bounty, Dylan, Hobo.
Oh yeah, I have another one actually.
Go for it. Hit us with one more before, and then we'll get into the main lead of the AMA.
I'll be quiet after this one. So someone who is helps me with my herbal supplements was over, and he was looking at the fashionistas and wants to start NFTs now based on his brand.
Nice. Is it an herbal brand?
It is something of that nature, yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'd say too, one thing that I really love about our server is that we've got one of the friendliest servers I've seen in NFTs. Get them in here. Like, I can answer questions. Bree can answer questions on her experience. I think, you know, the more welcoming we make the space, the more people have around. It's one of the things that we've been basing it on. And I mean, I don't even think it's a question of making it more welcoming. I think it's just like inviting people in because we've always tried to make this a really nice, welcoming space, right, hon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in regards to my friends, it's more or less them getting over the hump of what the heck is Discord. Because they come from an era where AIM was everything, and now this Discord thing comes up, and they're like, what is this?
You know, once again, try to see if you can get them in here as like a nice starter, and we can ease them into the rest of Discord. Just warn everyone about who's coming into Discord about the scams and direct messages.
Yeah, good call, good call.
Yeah. And Cass just wrote, sorry, just listening in as I'm working, so may not be able to chat too much. Cass, that's okay. Glad that you're here. Um, should we roll into the AMA part of the AMA?
I thought we'd talk more about pineapples on pizza, but
God damn it,
it's
no.
up to you.
Please.
Well, it's a heated discussion.
I don't know if I can concentrate if you're going to bring up this horribly hard.
Banana pizza!
As long as we don't talk about pineapples on pizza while we're doing the AMA, it's really distracting.
Okay.
As a New Yorker, it really just gets me upset. Carter says, is anyone else having Rarity Tool issues?
Yes, it's broken. The end. They're
Okay,
fixing
well,
it.
I thought
They're
so.
devs. Yeah, it's broken for every damn project, and they're fixing it. The devs stated.
Oh, okay.
Hmm?
Oh,
There's your answer.
that's not good.
Oh my
Uh,
God, did you have to say something? No, I'm sorry. Two communities that I know of right now, Terracon Warriors and another Feel Good, they both had their wallets hacked into, and over 55 Ethereum was stolen total out of one of them. So
Wow.
just kind of keeping that known to the community, like just CYA and all that stuff.
This is why I don't keep money in our contract. Do they know how?
As far as I know, not yet. They just announced it on an AMA last night, and the team sounded like beyond exhausted at this point. So information will probably start coming out soon.
Wow. That's that's really crazy. Yeah, security is really important. Don't click on links that you don't know. Be careful about uh, dusting attacks. Um, for the people in our server, a couple of things just know as a general rule. Don't trust people who are trying to get you to screen share to help you. A lot of times, especially if they have you open the inspector of your browser, they can see how you're logged into Discord and they can take your credentials from you that way. Another thing that's really important to do is watch out where you connect your wallet to. You know, like people will go to minting sites for NFTs and you connect your wallet to that, and that's basically authorizing the website to do things with your wallet. So just be careful in the space. And of course, never trust anyone who DMs you a link. I've very rarely seen it being anything but a total scam.
And there's no Barnyard Fashionistas updates that messages you.
Well, yet, damn it, like I want to do that, but they like these DMing things ruin it for everybody. Because like they get all the scammers in. Like I would love to do a Barnyard Fashionistas update mass DM. But maybe if I did it, I'd do it without any links in it and be like, you know, part number 1, never click links in these DMs. That's the biggest update.
Go to blank on the server.
You know what?
Go to blank on the server.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, very important to talk about scamming in the space. Okay, first things first. This is going to be the first of our weekly AMAs. It's interesting. sorry we've been a little bit quiet, but the holidays, it's hard to do things around the holidays for everybody. First, you got family. Even if you're avoiding them for for social distancing safety, you still have a lot of family and it's talking with them. But everyone, I found that we had a bunch of initiatives and it was really just hard to get through to people over over the holidays. Like everyone's kind of like distracted, taking their kind of end of year vacation, or more importantly, or not more importantly, but it happened a lot. A lot of people, literally people who I had wanted to set up meetings with, and actually some people some people on the team got COVID over the holidays. Um, Apparently, the Omicron variant has been flying around like mad. I think that we've very rarely seen this many of our friends getting COVID at the same time, have we? Like not even at the height of the pandemic
I'm
last
having
year.
a hard time finding people that don't have COVID.
You're having a hard time, yeah, yeah. Um, and one of our marketing guys was basically his whole family got it and some other stuff. One thing too, little side note, some breaking news is that they found that COVID is actually you're saying like a lot of articles are coming out that it resides in the throat, not the nose as much. So people can take a swab of their nose and be negative, but then they swab their throat and they're positive.
I think they're saying it resides in the lungs, which makes the
No, that's the opposite. It resides in the throat. Omicron.
okay.
It depends.
I just read an article, but
Oh,
So
about that.
I don't know.
there,
There was one. It just said the throat swabs are like using the rapid test for Omicron in the throat is more accurate right now.
Right, they're saying that because it doesn't reside in the respiratory system as much, and it resides more in the throat.
so the reason why it's residing more in the
Close to the
throat
navel cavity. So
is
you're
because
Oh, so what were you saying, Tardis?
the reason why it resides more in the throat than the previous variants is because you're right, it does manifest more in cell tissue in the lungs, but at like the top of your lungs rather than the bottom of your lungs, which are two very different things. So
Huh.
the reason why the swabs are more effective in the throat and they're finding it more in the throat is because they're actually finding it more behind your tonsils and in the sinus drainage cavities in the backs of your throat, where it is when you're coughing, when you're eating, drinking, things like that, when it's getting stuck in that back part of your throat. So those cavities in the back part of your throat, especially if you still do have your uvula, they're finding if they're able to swab the uvula, they're getting more accurate tests with the VR 100s and the PCR 100s.
It's fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah.
Very. It's because of the specific cell mutation of it. With the Omicron variant, there's such a large mutation off of the traditional strand of the DNA of COVID that it like completely changed the form and how it reacts as a like cell reactor as a virus. It's super crazy if you like look at the microbiology of it.
For
It's
one
really
second there, I thought you were talking about a celery reactor, which is really interesting to me because I would love to react with celery. Um, maybe some, the increasing vegetarian tendencies as you try to work with chickens more and more. We actually ordered chicken pot pie. We went to order chicken pot pies last night, and I like looked twice at it. I'm like, no, let's order the vegetable pot pies instead. That's really interesting, Tardis. We'll have to look into that. Not look into it, but I want to read up more on that. One of the
no,
main reasons I was mentioning it. What?
I said no, please do. I like that's one of the things about science. Like as a scientist, I love being corrected. So that's the information I last got from my workplace. And it might have changed since then. So like if I'm wrong, please do correct me because I would rather be corrected than still be wrong.
Well, that's one of the things I love about scientists is that you work with data as opposed to the other way around. And welcome, Spin Backwards.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. One of our favorite new apes. You're getting here right as we're getting to the meat of things. We're having kind of like a starting out good morning chat with everybody about their chickens.
Oh, beautiful.
Hey, it's really
Beautiful.
nice to meet you, man. I've really been excited to get you on the project, and we got some fun things going forward. So I'm really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you so much. It's actually good afternoon. Sorry. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. I see a long runway.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I want to connect more with you on a couple of things because you've got a really good sense for the space. And after I go through everything today, maybe we can also connect too. Guys, if you
Sure.
don't know, Spin Backwards is along with Great Fox and Corky, probably one of our biggest holders right now. And what do you have? 40 chickens? 40 fashionistas?
Something like that. I think they're really fun. I love I love the team from what I've been able to learn. The community, the mission of what you guys stand for. So that's what I look for, when I buy into something, and then I think long term. So, I learned a long time ago to buy what you believe in. I've never been an investor that, I wouldn't buy an oil and gas stock because of how I am, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I just bought a bunch of Rivian stock. So I buy what I believe in, not what I think I can make a lot of money at. My first concern is what I believe in and what I understand.
Well, and that's a really good point because I'm kind of the same way, and I find that like there there are a lot of ways to make money in this world, and if you focus on the stuff you believe in, it it also helps it. But in the long run, if you really believe in something, and the people around you work on it too, you can still make money on it, and then you're making money on something you believe in.
Yeah, have fun and make money.
Dude, my freaking motto, man. Did I tell you that I was a festival photographer for many years for that exact reason?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's worked for me for many years. It it just always it just end up it ends up better that way. And and now I'm at a point in my life where I want to allocate capital to a future that children happily exist in. And of course, in this space, there's going to be, uh, like anything that's new. I was there in so I have the benefit of being there at .com and Web one. Most of what we see now is going to change, and a lot won't make it.
Yes.
But that's just how it goes. But we still have to invest in the idea and invest in the future. And then when you do that, when people do that, that's how things get created because one becomes five, five becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, 100 becomes 1,000. And
Yep.
then all of a sudden things change. And it's the people who change things.
Man, one of the reasons why I hope that we do well and give out, and I hope this isn't too forward, but is so I can throw fashionista events and someday get to give you a big hug.
Oh, you will. Oh, you will.
Yeah,
Yay!
I had to come on here and say what's up to the other fellow hippie. I wasn't going to talk anymore, but you came on, so.
All right. Well, good. I don't want to hog up the channel.
Yeah, let me I'll dive into everything. So you're just in time. So first things first I wanted to bring up is that we're going to be making these weekly. I think one of the things that's the most important for a project after minting is to have people involved and give them updates on what's going on. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen devs make is they think, oh, I can't tell people about this till it's done. But I don't think that people want to wait until it's done, especially holders. I want to give you guys updates as things are going along and kind of give you, status, what we're thinking. One of the things that's important about that is that, just be aware plans may change along the line as we go through and we see what, if we need to restructure, if we see certain initiatives are working better than others. But I hope that that's a sign of a good project. And I just really want to keep you guys informed. So these are going to start being weekly, and for now, we're going to do them on Saturdays until maybe the summer and people are going out more. and then we'll probably switch over to a weekday. But for now, I think Saturdays is a great day. And one thing about that too is obviously there's a time that works for everybody. We tried to set this up. I want to be really cognizant that we've got a worldwide community going, and we're trying to set this up as noon is an interesting time because it's like really early for Australians and really late for Europe. So it's either kind of like doing this kind of now or in the middle of the night for New Yorkers. But I'm always open for times that are good for everybody. But so far, kind of like noon on Saturday feels like the best one. Oh, and Corky, would you tell Ronnie who just popped up in chat to give him a link to the AMA chat so he can pop in here and join us? All right. Let's see. Next big thing that I want to talk about is a little bit about our plans for going forward. Let's see. Oh, and also, Bree, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Bree's here, everybody.
Still drinking coffee.
Hello.
Hey, Trios, welcome. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about where the project is. One of the things that I love about this is that we've got a lot of very dedicated holders. And I actually think that we've got more interest than holders right now. As you guys know, because I was both running the project and doing the dev work, I had to have someone else come in and do the web page, and he didn't turn out to be as experienced as we'd hoped in the area. And ultimately, of course, the buck stops here on that. But what ended up happening was that we didn't have the mint button didn't work great on the pre-sale night. So we had a lot of people who were interested in the project who weren't able to mint. We would literally have hundreds and hundreds of more holders right now. One of the problems with that is then after the mint night, people of course are like, they all look at the other guy like, whoa, wait, that other guy didn't buy. Why aren't I didn't buy? So it kind of kills the momentum a little bit. But we're actually still getting some momentum, which is great. And I think it also means that we've got more interest than people bought in. And the people who have minted are really excited and holding. Like there's not actually that many actual fashionistas that are up for sale on OpenSea. So one of the big plans that we have is to, instead of waiting for certain parts of the roadmap to go ahead with the utility, we're just going to start going ahead with some of the utility. This is where, honey, this is where we get to show them how sincere we were that we were going to be going forward with this and supporting it no matter what. And so a couple of the big things that we're starting with, and one of the reasons why I want to give you guys an update on this is that, we are treating holders as part of the project. So we're open to your guys' ideas too. My vision is to kind of run this a little bit like a Burning Man camp, supply strong leadership, but also have lots of entry points for people to volunteer and get involved in the project. And I think it also makes for, how do I put this? It makes for a stronger community and makes for a much better chance of us getting wide adoption. Basically, when you've got one person, they can do a lot. When you've got a community, they can move mountains. So to start with, I want to tell you guys a little bit about what we're going to be doing with the fact that we've got a bunch of very strong holders and not that many fashionistas on OpenSea. I think one of the most important things is to start some aspects of the utility that get the demand and get people excited about it. And there's other things going on too. I'll talk about that in a minute. The first one is building the store. So the idea behind the store with Fashionistas is that it's a kind of a cool merch store where we're going to set up the technology where people can print merch with custom NFTs from their own wallet. Now, one of the reasons why that's interesting and important is that one of the biggest things that, if you guys notice, one of the biggest things that people connect to with their projects is their profile pics. I mean, look at all of us. Almost everyone in here has an NFT profile pic. It's something about it that speaks to us. And if you look at the projects, it's like, it's not just that a project speaks to someone, it's their personal one speaks to them about it. Bree, you got a personal fashionista that really speaks to you, don't you?
You mean the one I made for myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How important is it to you that you have a pink fashionista?
It's like very important.
It's very important. How important is it to you that's a pink unicorn fashionista?
Very important.
Yeah, on a scale of like 1 to 10.
Like 20.
Could you have done it with like a blue fashionista?
No. I'm offended that you would say that.
So,
The blue fashionista is for somebody else.
it is for somebody else. You can't see, but she is actually sitting here looking slightly offended that it's okay, honey. I don't really think you wanted a blue fashionista. I just lobbed that one to you.
It's
to make
okay
it easy.
if there's a little pink in it, but it can't be my main one.
That's why I love her, people. So this is one of the things why I think the store is going to be so great. We're going to set the technology so that people can print. Aw, Corky says we're cute. Yes. We're going to set the technology so people can print their own NFTs from their own wallets. We also want to set it up so that only the people that own the NFT can print that specific NFT. So it becomes something personal, but it's high school's most likely couple to succeed. maybe post college we both
That would have
know.
been a problem.
Yeah.
If you were dating me in high school.
Yes, it would have been a problem if I was dating her in high school. I am a little bit older than Bree. It was almost a date problem when you were in college, but it's still kind of hot. Charter says LMFAO, same. So one of the things about it that, and also welcome to all the new peoples, Tendoris, Romney, Nats, let's see who else came in, Broke Fashionista Karikas. Oh, glad you guys are all here. So one of the reasons why I think that's so important that I'm bringing up about the store is it's an aspect of NFT merch that's not really being addressed enough. So, oh, her boyfriend's 6 years older than her. That's so cute. We'll compare timing at some point. We've got a couple of years on that 6-1, but one of the things that's so important about it is it's an aspect of NFT merch that's not really addressed well in the space. And it also provides, and this is important for minting, it provides a good collaboration and fashionista acceptance point for us. So, for example, I'll give you guys an idea about something that we're thinking about, some reference to. As you guys know, I own a Mutant Ape, and they did a merch drop, or basically they did a merch weekend where you could buy the Mutant Ape Yacht Club merch on that weekend only. And one of the things that they had was a limited edition skateboard. I forget if there were like 200 of them or 500 of them or 1,000. It was something, but like the skateboards were sold out in under an hour. It was like, that was a hot item. There was only a limited amount of them. And, the whole merch drop was huge for the project, but that just went instantly. And so one of our ideas is to, with our technology, we can create special merch drops for projects where they make the majority of the markup on it, but people who fashionistas get in to the merch first. So that becomes kind of, our entry point for these big projects. So, imagine if we partnered up with someone like CyberCons or something like that, and we had, this amazing merch that they could only get for one weekend, and anyone who wanted to get in could get in a day earlier if they got a Barnyard Fashionista. So it's like, the main sale for Barnyard Fashionistas would start Friday. the main sale for the rest of the project would start Saturday. That's the kind of exclusivity thing in the NFT space that I mean, at the very least, if I had that opportunity and I saw Barnyard Fashionistas sitting on the floor for zero point 0.01 or zero point 0.02 or zero point 0.03 or zero point 0.04, even 0.05, even 0.1 at some point, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to grab one of these things and get in there early. And, I'd probably forget to sell it afterwards or think I've got another merch upgrade coming up. But we could also let people know, like, hey, we're going to be doing this again with CyberKongs in a couple of months. Hold on to them. We're going to be doing this with a lot of projects. It will be harder and harder to get fashionistas. So that's one of the things that we're thinking about in terms of partnerships is on the storefront. And Bree, I know you just had your coffee, but feel free to jump in if you have any thoughts on this stuff. I know, like, you've been thinking about, because you got the history in fashion and merchandise stuff. You've been thinking about some kind of cool ideas for merch that could possibly be done, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's the merch for just the store in general, but then there's the limited, like, stuff that we're, like, coming up with and just kind of thinking of unique things and products, like, that would go with certain NFTs really well, and just kind of like what NFTs would fit with what merchandise really well.
Yeah, you were showing me a list of some possible things, and I am insanely excited to possibly do something like set up so people could print their own NFT on an Apple Watch or an Apple Watch wristband.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would be so over that. I'd be so all over that. Like, oh. So to give you an idea, that's one of the things that we're thinking in terms of partnerships. The next thing that I want to talk about is bringing up, the next thing that we're working on, which I've actually already started putting the team together for, which was going to be a 100% roadmap item, but I am starting on now, is Meta Chickens. Dun, 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 dun. Meta Chickens are 3D chickens an entry point into the metaverse. And what makes it exciting isn't just to get you guys 3D assets, but it's also to use this as another partnership and collab point. I'm already talking about setting up some meetings with a couple of companies that are doing some metaverse stuff that we can integrate the chickens to. When we do stuff like that, maybe there's a possibility of adding, Easter eggs, maybe even some pay to earn games that tie in with our staking, with some other metaverse projects. And also just the fact that, like, if our project becomes one of the first projects to have actual 3D assets running around, that's something that a lot of projects have talked about and promised, but have not come to fruition for them. I think in part it's because a lot of projects say, oh yeah, we can do this in 3D, but then they don't really have an idea what that means to do. And meanwhile, I'm coming from the other end where I've already had an entire career in 3D character pipeline development. And so for me, it's like, oh yeah, making a game asset of these chickens, LFG. One of the biggest holdups for me on that one has just been, all my main question Charles had. So do our current chickens become 3D, or is the next mint of 3D chickens? I am planning this as an enhancement for people who hold fashionistas. The original plan was to have chickens, the original plan was to have chickens that actually match your guys' stuff. We make all the clothing and everything. It's a little bit harder on the budget that we have. So we might start with some relatively naked chickens, maybe with shoes.
You're also not specifying that it's not going to replace their NFT.
Right.
Which is...
Oh, thank you. Yes. Like, it's not a replacement. It's not, this is going to be another NFT, and this will be an airdrop for current holders. Right? I think that's what she was asking too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like our chickens evolve. Basically, this is going to be something that you guys are all getting for being Fashionistas holders. Congratulations. Kind of, if you can imagine the, I'm trying to figure out if I want to make it so that, more NFTs, woohoo! I'm trying to figure out if I want to make it so that these are a separate NFT set, or if these are assets that you get downloaded when you hold your Barnyard Fashionista. Haven't determined that one yet, but either way that it works out, you guys are going to be all getting them. Bounty says, "Wow, so cool! Thank you. You're welcome, man. I know, right? Exciting." Also, another good reason for people to get in on the Fashionistas. Chad says, "Metaverse chickens." Damn right, man. Meta chickens. Chad, that's really interesting. Oh, Chad is not actually in the chat. He just saw the chicken in there. Corky, if you could reply to Chad and let him know that he's actually replying to things that we were seeing in the AMA chat, it might be really great to get him in here. But he's right. Metaverse chickens it is. Let's see how weird we can make this. God, nothing.
Like, did you kind of talk about, like, you know, the potential of, like, bringing them to universes and games, like you'd actually be your chicken? Is that?
Well, yes. Okay. So thank you for bringing that up. Right. Because I know what that means, but a lot of people might not understand that's one of the advantages of this. So one of the reasons, guys, that people are doing these kind of 3D assets is it makes it so that you can bring these assets to metaverse games, like Decentraland, Sandbox. You can also bring them to other areas, like a lot of people are doing kind of like partnerships with games and gaming companies where they can bring these assets in. I'm sure things will get standardized over time, but for now, it's one of the things that we're going to be targeting with these. So this can lead to more partnerships. Does that explain it better, Bree? Is that, like, sometimes I forget, since I just know 3D, that I just like, oh, it means all these things, but you're.
Oh yeah. Well, and also somebody, like you were pointing out, when you're working with somebody else, you can make a 3D asset wrong and it's just a cool 3D picture, as opposed
Right.
to like actually being able to move around in a metaverse with it, which I thought was an important distinction.
Right.
That you covered.
It's
now.
one of the important things that, like, the fact that I've got 3D production experience, I actually know how these things work and can make them happen.
Yeah.
And you end up with a 3D asset that you actually can do something really cool with. So yeah, and to show you guys a little bit of something about that, let me see. Oh, it can also lead to, like I said, other partnerships. Like, there's some metaverses that are doing play to earn games, and I want to talk with them about, how I could possibly do that, make it so that maybe part of our staking ends up being that some of the tokens can also be earned from activities inside these other metaverses, which is nice for them too, because it makes it so that people have a reason to visit their metaverse.
Yeah.
Along those lines, I'm currently building the team for that, but I wanted to share something fun with you guys. Hold on a second. So what you need to do to make to go ahead and make a metaverse stuff. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Let's see. So one of the things that you need to do to make a metaverse project is you need to have a modeler, you need to have a character rigger, and you need to have some texturing. And I'm working with all my old contacts to track down people who are going to be great for the project, and I already have one, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little something here. If you go ahead and look at your wait, hold on. I'm just loading it up before I do it. I'm about to share my screen so I can show you some work of a friend of mine who I worked with on Hollow Man, who's excited to come on board and do some of the modeling for the chickens on us. I'm going to show you through some of his character stuff because it's a few projects that you just might recognize. So let's start here, and I'm going to do a screen share here. If you guys can go in and click watch on my screen right now, and you will see that one of the projects that I worked with him on was, or actually no, I didn't work with him on this one, but he did models for Harry Potter. Any Harry Potter fans in the chat? Feel free to. Free says me.
No,
What hit me?
maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Feel free to say something in main chat. But I believe he built the ogre and the center, the ogre and the centaur of this. I'm looking through this and iGolf said starting an hour early? ? We were really supposed to start at noon PST. Interesting. Let's figure that out later. Maybe it was a time calculation. Cass, huge Harry Potter guy. Bounty, Dobby loves Harry. Let's see. Yeah, so I believe he modeled the there's the troll and the centaur. He modeled both of those.
Don't speak about me that way. That's rude. I'm beautiful.
Welcome, Kat. Here's some other stuff. This is if you guys know Stuart Little, he built the Stuart Little models. This is Hollow Man. I worked with him on this project. Little I Am Legend. Anyone?
You worked on I Am Legend?
I worked on Hollow Man.
Oh, Hollow Man's still equally as cool, but I Am Legend is also awesome.
Yeah, he worked on I Am Legend. If you see
That's
here,
awesome.
yep, these are the models in kind of like their default positions, and then here's a couple of stills from the movie. Oh, damn it! I did start early. I started the AMA early. We started in the we got the AMA's time confused.
Do another one at 2 p.m.
We'll do another one at 2 p.m. I was wondering why there were so few people here at the beginning of it. You know what happened, guys? This just goes to show that I'm human. We did our AMA. We did a
Hey, Josh.
pre-AMA yesterday for the
Josh.
moderators. Yeah.
I just want to interrupt. At this point, I think it's important to talk about 20 years of Burning Man.
Yeah, but if it was on burner time, it'd be starting late, not early. Wow. Yeah.
You know,
Josh
You
has
know
been
how-
to 20 Burning Mans, people. So there's more. You can take that. It's like saying, well, I've been a deadhead for a long time.
the amount of LSD I'm sure you've consumed.
Yeah. I don't think this is a family operation, but it's fair to assume that Josh has done a little drop, has done some drops. So maybe that could account for some of the mix-up. I'll bow out now. I'll shut up now.
So, you guys caught the early AMA. I guess we'll be doing this again at 2:00. Oh man. Well, don't worry. This is just going to turn into an afternoon of AMAs. We'll finish up this one, then I'll do another one for people. You guys are getting the pre-AMA AMA, and you can give me feedback on it for the actual AMA. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. So continuing to go through some of his work, Ghost Rider, John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Oh, that was so cute.
I know, isn't that guy
I
cute?
like that one.
Oh, damn it, Corky, you can't hit with pineapple pizzas on that.
I
Fashionistas.
love Ghost Rider.
That's the first time I've heard someone say that in that voice.
I love Ghost Rider so much. It's such a bad but great movie.
He modeled the bike.
It's so cool.
And those are awesome. And then there's the Manhattan from Dr. Manhattan.
I don't see the penis on that one, so maybe he didn't model the penis.
No, I think he's probably not showing the penis for the one on his website.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if you.
disappointing.
I can ask. You want me to ask him? I'll try to get him to show, get some penis models for you, Pri. Anyway, so this is who I have who's going to be doing the modeling for us on the chicken character, the 3D model. And stop screen sharing for a minute there. And let's see. Well, I'm really happy to hear that it was that, because I was wondering why there were so few people here at noon. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's talking about the meta chickens a little bit. And one of the great things about getting the meta chicken asset is it'll enable us to be in more partnerships, which will lead to more adoptions of the chickens. Some other things I wanted to go over too is that one of the great things that I did, as my staff will tell you, I've done my best to be really generous. Oops. Isn't hi, Brie? Whenever we do an AMA, Brie gets the hiccups.
They're just an ongoing thing now.
It's just every time. One of the things that I did, as anyone who's been involved with the staff of the project will tell you, is that we've been really generous about making sure that the awards get spread around a little bit. We've been, I'm a big believer that everyone contributes to a project. So I actually still have a few more rewards to send out to the moderators. Oh my God, sorting rewards after the release has been the hugest thing. There's like people who didn't put their wallets in, people who did put their wallets in. I've had to go back 3 times to go over, making sure that we get everyone sorted on it. So it's been taking a little longer than normal, especially with the holidays. But we're pretty much done with that. I think I've got one set of some stuff to send out still, and then yay. But what I was trying to say there was we've actually been really generous with our moderation staff and making sure that everyone gets cut in for a little bit of something. We've also got a little bit more rewards coming to moderators too, which I'll talk to you guys about in a meeting. But one of the things about that turned out well is that the person who's doing a lot of our marketing is still involved, and he's very connected and still working on connections and marketing for us, and strategizing for things that we can do going down the road for adoption. So I actually did something, he actually told me, he was like, oh wow, you gave me a bigger percent than I expected, and thank you. And he was doing a lot of work and working really hard, and I thought he deserved it. And it turned out to be, I thought I was being, nicely generous, but it turns out now that in the situation that we're in, it means that he's actually, it turns out that I was being nicely motivating. So he's really motivated to help us keep working on this. So that's kind of an exciting piece of the puzzle, and he's working on partnerships. I can't talk about everything yet, but he's working on partnerships for us with potential collaborations. Also, we've got our guy who originally hooked us up with Billy Zane, who's going to be working on other things and more celeb stuff. Oh, and did you send me that chicken? Yes.
I did. I could send it again.
Here, I'm gonna share one more thing with you guys. Don't screenshot this, Corky. I'm looking at you. Don't share this out yet.
He hasn't seen it yet, so.
But take a look at my screen. So one of the things that Bree did, which is going to be showing up, is that this is going to be Billy Zane's profile when he gets it. It is the Phantom Fashionista. It's pretty wild, Bree.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how detailed the work is on that costume. Like,
It was pretty detailed. I was kind of avoiding it for a bit. And I was almost not gonna add the ring, and I was like, I need to add it. And now that I did, I was like, oh, it had to be there.
yeah, it's really great. Corky just said, what did I do? Oh, nothing. Don't worry, Corky. And Fashionista Hippie just said, I just dropped my edible. That's you know, that's a big sign.
Just wipe it off. It'll be fine.
You know that you've impressed Fashionista Hippie when you've done two things. You make him drop his edibles one level, then if you get him to spill the bong water, that's a really big one.
Yeah.
It's like bonus points. So this is a Phantom Fashionista that we're doing for Billy Zane. This week, yeah, there you go. Corky's got the image of him in the movie. Wow, and that Fashionista looks just like really. We should say that the Fashionista is inspired by the Phantom. He made his own costume, right? He does a lot of cosplaying. This one.
Yeah.
Does he go to a lot of Comic-Cons like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regularly, yeah.
How's been the success of this one picking up on other chickens in this costume? Does he get a lot of like chicken action? Because going to Comic-Cons, like,
I don't know. I mean, he says he does.
a lot of Phantom fans. Nice. Yeah, I loved it too. We got to show you the movie this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a big one. So some of the outreach that we're doing, one of the things we're going to be doing this week is launching the BFFs, or Barnyard Fashionistas Friends NFT, which is basically our giveaway one-on-one NFTs that aren't part of the set. And they're going to be another thing that we're going to be using I'm going to talk about it later in kind of like, you know, community motivation section of the AMA. Love the Phantom, very tight in the crotch region. True that. Harder to make interesting with feathers, but true that. Let's see. So the next thing that I want to talk about in kind of like the plans for going forward are staking. Now, staking wasn't supposed to come into play until later. I do want to implement it. It's probably going to be a pretty high priority. I'm going to be working on the staking for Great Ape Society 2 coming up probably this week. So we're going to see some movement in staking for the project as well.
This window, isn't it?
What, Karis? Oh, I don't know if Karis meant to say that to me. So even though we didn't hit the item yet,
My bad, sorry.
What? Oh,
Accidental
even though we
unmute, sorry.
Oh, no problem, man. Once again, even though we didn't hit the amount of the roadmap to do staking yet, it's one of the things I want to get going and implement. I'd like for the staking to have rewards in the store. I'd like for the staking to have possible rewards in breeding. Haven't worked out all the tokenomics on it yet, but it's something that's definitely on our radar. Let's see. I think that's the main part of our update on roadmap and utility. Before I go on, by the way, one of the reasons why I have this as a chat in the chat and not a stage is so that we can actually do this as, you know, a Q&A. So before I go on to the next stuff, does anybody have any questions about kind of like utility plans so far? Or what I just went over? Feel free to ask them here or type it in main chat if you've got a questions. If you guys notice, every so often when I'm answering things out of the blue, I'm not just talking to the voices in my head. People are chatting them in main chat and I'm answering them there.
Sure.
Bree, you're supposed to back me up on this. You're supposed to hide my mental problems. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, Corky says sure as well in the main chat. Wonderful, thank you. Let's see, we've got a couple people who are typing some things that might be questions. Let's find out if they are. I found out that Discord has, we are all just a figment of your imagination. Thank you, TARDIS. Wonderful. It's the existential crisis. If you create an NFT, are there actually people? If an NFT is in the metaverse, does it make a sound? Yes, we're all bots. Nothing in here but us bots. Okay, guys, go ahead and start making R2D2 sounds.
They've gotten so much better.
Yeah, seriously. Wow.
AI bots are really great.
It's amazing. You can go ahead and create an entire multiverse for yourself. Beep, boop. Thanks, Karis. Boop. Wonderful. Here, just as an honor of that, I will boop Bree. Here we go. Boop. Beep. I booped Bree's nose and Bree beeped. Yes, an obligatory bender. Okay. That so scares me, like I'm not actually listening to this on my couch, but I'm really a padded room just banging my head against the wall. Real fear. Don't worry, Corky. We won't give you a blue pill this morning. All right, so moving on to Bakok.ai. Moving on to the next things that we want to talk about. The utility kind of leads nicely into the roadmap. Look, I'll be honest. The roadmap was set up with the intention of selling out right away. But I did something smart on it. I put stuff on there that was scalable and achievable along the way. Like a lot of people create things on a roadmap that, they require their full budget to do, but I didn't. So I'll probably have to scale things a little bit at first. I don't want to scale the store. I'm going ahead full steam on that one. But for example, like the metaverse chickens, like at one point, what the actual plan was originally was to have them all match all the traits of what you drew, Bree. You want to see like them all in 3D with all the different aspects and everything. For now, at the start, what we'll probably do is make it so that they're, like I said ahead of time, like, the colors match the colors of your guys' chickens. We'll probably start with like the facial expressions and that kind of thing. And then as the project gets more adoption, we can add more clothing over time to that, but do it with a good base and a good pipeline so that you guys can all get the updates to that. This is where my character pipeline experience comes into play. So more clothing or less? Hard to say. More clothing or less? What do you mean, TARDIS?
I think she's asking about the meta chickens.
Oh, stripper chickens. I think it takes some special clothing to acquire them to look like stripper chickens. Maybe we can start with tassels. You can make it so that the chickens who have tassels have I mean that one would be easy. Although I do have to say that doing the thong in 3D might present more of a problem. Like some of that's the 2D solution. We probably have to work on what a 3D thong would actually work like on a chicken. God, that is going to be so disturbing. And perfect.
Don't you shave them.
I'm not going to shave them.
Beautiful.
They're beautiful.
They're round, feathery bottoms.
Their round feathery bottoms are wonderful.
Exactly.
Every so often when Bree berates me on the chickens, I don't know where to start. Hippie said, I thought you said bong, not thong. That's typical hippie. The chunky butts. So a couple of things along that. We're going to have to make some adjustments to the roadmap, obviously, for now. One thing that I put up as a disclaimer is that if we do mint to 100%, then we will be giving away either the immune tape or the cash equivalent of what immune tape was worth on mint day. One of the reasons I put that in is mutant apes have started flying like mad. If a miracle happened and we minted out in the next couple of weeks, I'd probably go ahead and send one out anyway, because we'd have enough for it. But if mutant apes go the way of bored apes, I'm making sure that we have a disclaimer in there now that, if the project ends up fully minting out in like 3 months or 4 months, or even a month and a half or 2 months after we get the utility going, I don't want to bankrupt the project by committing to a mutant ape. And right now, I also want to fulfill as much of the roadmap as we can, but since we're doing it out of order, it changes what I have available for budget on stuff. So let's see. There's also a couple of other things too. Playing around with the idea, I want to see how these initiatives to get demand going work. And if they don't, depending on how strong the initiatives are, we might not have to need to load the supply. I mean, if the initiatives end up really strong and people start really adopting these more, we could mint out the 10,000 that way. If for some reason it doesn't look like it's going that way, then I'm open to lowering the supply on them, maybe making it a Genesis set of like 3,000 or 4,000. Maybe we can use the rest for breeding rewards, so we can actually like breed into the set until we fill out the 10,000. There are things that we can do along those lines. So those are the things I'm looking at for possibilities. I don't want to rule out staking and breeding. Sorry, I don't want to rule out. I don't want to rule out some possible moves to lower the supply. I just want to see how much demand we can generate through partnerships that we're working on. And we're working on some things that are pretty hot in the NFT space, like, making metaverse versions of stuff. So that really could drive more demand. Fashion Guitarist asked, egg update. Once again, we have not hit enough of the roadmap to do the eggs. So for me, I feel like the most important things right now are to get the bigger utilities going that work on collaborations. Like, for example, would you guys rather that we worked on the eggs, or would we rather that we worked on 3D metaverse chickens for everybody? I'm leaning towards the 3D metaverse versions for everybody. I think it's a stronger thing to make 3D chickens. Yeah, I think it's a stronger thing to make the project go forward. Is a 3D version of the chickens. So yay. Also, with the breeding mechanism, I'm considering whether we switch the egg NFT drop to an egg, to making the token itself eggs, and doing it as a staking / gamification system. But we'll figure that out. We'll figure out what's best for the project, and I will keep giving you guys these updates on it all. Next week, I'll even do the update on time instead of early. Some people thought the eggs were a joke. Really? Some people thought the eggs were a joke. That's funny.
A yolk.
Oh, wow. Just yoking?
Just
Yoking around. I don't know where to go from that one. Tardis says, good one, Bray. So does anyone have any questions on so to summarize the points on that, we're probably, like I said, we're making adjustments to the roadmap. I'm not waiting until we hit certain points in the roadmap to do those types of utilities, because I think it'd be good for the project to do them early. I'm just kind of adjusting what some of those utilities are so that we can make them achievable. Like doing 900 different pieces of custom clothing right now, not so achievable. Doing meta chickens, completely achievable, especially with my experience. Does anybody have any questions about roadmap and supply before we move on to the next topic? Feel free to ask. I feel like I need a little Jeopardy sound. Little game show music, something while we wait. You guys can't see the look, but Bree is looking at me like I've gone crazy. When are we going to get a sweep of the floor? Great question. Golf, honestly, the sweep of the floor was a roadmap item for when we hit 100% because that's when you have enough money to do something like that. My idea for working with the floor right now is to start increasing the demand and bring in other roadmap items that increase demand that I can achieve with the budget that we have. Is that understandable? Also, thumbs up for my golf. I mean, here's the thing. I can either use our money to do something like sweep the floor. I say our money. I can use what I have. I can either use what I have to sweep the floor, or I can use it to fund things like the 3D chickens. Oh, Dinklepuff keeps disconnecting. No. Corky, can you tell Miss Dinklepuff that I said that there'll be a recording of this so that she won't miss it? So once again, I can either do something like sweep the floor, or I can afford to bring us some 3D metaverse chickens, maybe do the store, and those types of things. So that's why I'm focusing on those items. And looking at the floor, there's actually not that many chickens on the floor. I feel like if we get a little utility going, then there's a really good, like that'll be the best motivator for people to grab those off the floor. And my idea is to make these more and more attractive. So people want to get them off the floor, they get them above mint price, and then we get more people minting chickens again, which we can then turn around and have more of a budget to do more cool things with. Tardy says, we are also supportive. I love this community. I really love this community too. Feel very much the same. Golf said true to that response. Yeah. And honestly, TARDIS, like our community and all of you guys, our community is, I think, one of our strongest things. We really spent the time to let you guys know we care and to communicate. And yeah, I kind of took New Year's weekend off, but that's one of the reasons why we're making these weekly, so that we can all be here. Let's see. Patty said, yeah, 3D and stores sound great. The more that's added to the project, the better. Couldn't agree more. Especially the more stuff that allows other projects to collaborate with us. Happy to wait for the other stuff. Thanks, Patty. Appreciate it. Dinklepuff says, thank you all. And Fashionista Hippie says, love you too, Hippie. Okay, I think if no one has any more questions about the roadmap or supply, the car says I'm psyched for 3D Fashionistas. I know, man, me too, right? Meta chickens. I just keep saying meta chickens, and I love it so much. We'll see you later, See you later, Hippie. What do you think of this community compared to other communities in the NFT space? Sub said. Subs, is this one of your first NFT communities? Yeah, please, guys, feel free. Like, Sub said, Tar said so much kinder. Sub said yes, it is. Tar said well-rounded. Yeah, I really agree with that. I think we've got a really great community. I mean, I can only judge based on my own reaction, but I know that every time I come in here, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to see people. And it's as Spin Backwards post said earlier, he's talking about investing what you believe in, but one of the things one of the things I think that makes me the most bullish on this is how excited everyone is to make friends here and what we're doing with the culture. Like I said, I've got community building experience. Bree does too. And I think it's one of our strongest things. You look at the chickens, and even though the project didn't fully mint out yet, we don't have people panicking. We've got people in here as exciting. No one's fudding the project in here. That's fantastic. And it's also one of the reasons we're just going to keep going forward on this, which I think is great. Corey said, "I'm so happy it's not a grind." Honestly, that's true. Although we're about to talk to this in the next thing, but we want to encourage more participation, and we do want to gamify some stuff. And is Milo still here? I think Milo might have had to bump out, but Milo is going to be doing some stuff, and we've got some ideas for prizes for people too. So, the next thing that I'm going to be talking about is community initiatives and volunteering. So, one of the next big things I'm going to be doing is building out our holder community. So the first thing, everyone needs to get verified. If you're holding a chicken and you haven't been verified yet, make sure that you go to our verification chat, which is, let's see, get verified here if you're holding a chicken. Holding a chicken. Which is the Verify-Fashionistas. I should change it to Verify Wallet because it's collab land and it'll verify you for all the holdings. But if you jump in there, that's the link to get verified with your fashionistas. And I'm going to be adding a few more community roles. One of them is going to be Discord organization for people who are interested in how we organize the Discord. We're going to keep going with the outreach stuff, but we're also going to be doing a lot of things, including, let's see. Oh, one of the things that I'm wondering is I'm trying to figure out, I think that the next move might be to make the volunteer sections for holders only. I wanted to check and see what you guys thought of that. Feel free to unmute and speak about that. But I'm thinking, like I said, I want the holders to start to take a little more ownership of the project. So making volunteer points that are just for holders, I think could be a good move for us. And I'm going to be working on the categories for that over the next week. Tardis, I got to go. Stay farm fresh. See you later, Tardis. Let's see. The other thing I want to talk about with the community initiatives is we want to start making rewards for community activities. And we've got some fun ideas on that, but there's a couple of things. One of them is that Milo is talking about doing some things like some special backgrounds and special modifications to the chickens for people for doing like as a prize for Twitter raids and social media involvements. So the idea behind that is that we get the community, we really motivate you guys to be more involved with prizes, but also we start organizing things like Twitter raids, more social media, getting the word out, and making it so that there are prizes for you guys to do that. Custom artwork, some other stuff. We're also going to be, like I said earlier, we're going to be firing up the BFFs NFT set, which is where Bree can put the one-on-ones that she does for people for prizes. There are a couple people who got some one-on-ones coming from our initial launch, and then also it's good prizes for activities. And another thing that we're thinking about doing is some possible big prizes for people who do a full set collection, like people who end up getting an NFT of one of each kind. Like, so if you get one from each clothing collection, and there are only a limited amount of some of the clothing collections, well, there's a limited amount of all of them, so it could be a good reason to start minting more. But we'll get to those too. So that's something that we're going to be working on this week, are ideas for what to do with the community and the different types of prizes on it. So if anyone wants to be involved in those conversations, I'll probably make one of the roles for that a kind of discussion on it. Maybe it's an outreach. Maybe we adopt the outreach one to that. Let's see. And at the heart of this project, I think is making space for people to be invited. Cars posted a brain. Is that the brain because we're thinking on this stuff? At the heart of this project is making places for people to be involved, keeping going with our commitment on it, but also making places for people to be involved. So I would encourage every holder to reach out and let me know if there are places that you think that you'd like to be involved. If there are things that you think that you could bring to the project or things we can do, please feel free to message me, feel free to talk about it in holders chat, and we'll do everything that we can to support and also work with you on it. And let's see, the last big thing that I want to talk about today is our plans with the David Silverman NFT. Those are progressing. There's a few things that I realize on this. One of them is that I want to get a we're thinking about whether or not we wanted to integrate it with this Discord and make a separate Discord. Right now we're leaning towards making a separate Discord for it, because you get a lot of a boost when there's a new Discord, and we're still going to keep it tied to this project in terms of whitelist and future utility. I just want to do our best bang for our buck on community building on that, but we haven't fully decided yet. Another thing too is that I realized after this one that it's hard for me to do both marketing and all the development at the same time. So I'm looking around for, one of the things I'm looking for are people who have done successful marketing in the space for good 10K sets. Dave, the director of The Simpsons, it's a pretty notable NFT set. And people's reactions to it are really pretty positive. So we think it'll be really attractive for someone it'll be really attractive for people who are marketing in this space. So we'd like to see if we can connect with some people who've marketed successful 10K sets who are really good at it, that we can use to market the David Silverman set also. So I've started looking around and interviewing teams and talking to people. If you guys know teams or have connections to projects, to good projects that have sold out with good teams, let me know. Because that's kind of like the next big move on the David Silverman project. And of course, we're still, you guys are also going to still get some really interesting priority on the whitelist. Originally, our idea was to do a raffle for the whitelist for the David Silverman stuff. Into Barnyard Fashionistas. So I'm trying to figure out what the best mechanism is for that. But like I said, as a Genesis project, you guys are going to be getting a lot of benefits in this. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the exact things that I'm thinking. On as far as the whitelist for the Silverman project yet, because we're still working out the details on it. But my main goal with that is to make it known that people who are in Fashionistas are getting a priority on that. So you guys are going to get the benefits of that. And just trust me, even though we haven't announced it yet, I want to work out all the details before we announce it, so that no one says like, oh my God, you said you were going to do this. But it's going to work out really well for all of you guys. I just need to figure it out exactly. And I think that wraps up the AMA portion of the AMA. Does anybody, I'd like to kind of open it up for kind of like group discussion and thoughts before we start the next AMA at 2:00. If if we didn't just get everyone here early. We might have just gotten everyone here early for stuff. So maybe we don't have to do a second one. But I will be here to answer AMA questions for anyone at 2 o'clock also, because I got our 2 AMA times mixed up on that one. Corky says, I've been up for way too long. I feel you on that one. Guys, unmute your microphone. Say hi. Share any thoughts that you have. This is conversation time and time for us to get to know you guys as well. Or feel free to type something in main chat.
Josh, I'd just like to add a comment about the floor price.
Yeah.
And I think that people mistake some things. Regarding sweeping the floor, I think that's a really bad idea, because what that does is that it gives people an artificial sense of people think that, oh, people from around the Twitter or whatnot are buying the pieces, when in fact it's not. They're being bought by the devs. It's kind of like buying up shares in a company, right? So that's not a good idea. I think that the best thing is to just let this go, and as long as you two just keep doing what you believe in, and as long as you two keep communicating that to everybody, and then there's rainy days coming, and so as long as you've got some cash reserves, the rest will just take care of itself. And I think that is the best way to grow anything. And I have a lot of experience with, growing things. So I hope that that's the track you'll follow. As long as you just keep communicating what you believe in, what you're about, letting people know who you are, the rest will just happen.
Yeah, that's I love that, because you really do have experience growing stuff, and it's nice. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm excited to kind of brainstorm with you on that, on some of these as well. Right, like what you're saying about communication. I think that's so key, because we have a bunch of very dedicated holders. And I think that the most important thing is to keep communicating so people know what's happening, so that they can be in the know and continue to hold and continue to be excited, and not not want to get rid of their chickens, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I've been in product, I've been a tech entrepreneur since 1989. I've everything that I've ever done, I've always done it. Me and my guys, we've never taken venture capital ever. We financed everything ourselves, and we always did things that we loved and believed in and were in love with. And our philosophy was always that we wanted to build something so great that if we were gone, people would be upset. And that is the definition of a great business, small or large. And it's worked every time. It's never not worked. And it's not only for us, but in some of the guys that I've known for 3 years, they've done it the same way. People read the press or whatnot, and they think, oh, the only way you can make it is venture capital. It's totally not true. Even the venture capitalists will even tell you that. Some of them, the few that are honest.
Right.
The way that great things get done is because of it just starts with the love. It starts with a couple of people being in love with what they're doing, and then it's about a fundamental belief, and then it's about staying foolish, staying hungry. And I wrote a blog post about that today. Steve Jobs didn't come up with that phrase, by the way.
Who did?
It was on the last issue of the Whole Earth catalog. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in 1975. 74, 75. I have a copy of it right over there, 74. And on the back cover of the last Whole Earth catalog, the epilogue, it was stay hungry, period, stay foolish, period. And So yeah, so that's what's going to make the difference. People will see what you're about, and they'll either buy it or they won't. Well, that's how products work. And
Right.
then more people will come in because I hang out with people who buy stuff, where we have like interests, and that's really how it goes because your customers are your best salespeople, and they will tell others only if you give them a reason to. And if you give them a reason to, they're going to see that you guys are in love with what you're doing. You don't have to prompt them to do these Twitter raids, any of that. They will come up with their own words to explain what you guys are doing. And then that will just get out there, and it'll either work or it won't. And if it doesn't, you did the right thing anyway. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. And if it does, of course, it's just a hell of a lot of fun. I believe in your case, from what I've seen so far, it will. And that's been my experience. And that's folks, that's the way to go. It's not these kind of this hyper path that we've seen in 2021, which is an aberration. What we've seen in 2021 is over. It's not going to happen again. Now it's going to be about slow and steady. It's going to be about creating lasting value and having something that people dig, and then you guys at the top being in love with what you're doing, and then the rest is just it's going to happen or it won't.
I love that. It's really funny. I think there's a really interesting perspective that you're bringing up as two people who have both been through the .com boom and bust. It's like we've seen this before. We've seen this pattern of things that are like, anyone with an idea gets millions of dollars of VC funding, and then they go away, or it doesn't pan out. What's funny is I actually started a .com business at the height of that in the early 2000s. I actually did something lean and mean, and I created a plugin for 3D software company in that exact environment. Because I saw a lot of companies that were kind of going crazy and doing, you used to look at a bunch of companies back then and say, I don't understand where the value is in this. And I see a lot of similarities in NFT projects here as well, which is also one of the reasons why, with that experience, one of the reasons why we kind of made a store one of the core things about this project, because it's something real that a lot of projects like this don't have. It's kind of like a real basis for things, and something that's an actual business that can make money, and not just like a tokenomics gimmick. And in some ways, that was very much inspired by what I'd seen from the .com era.
Yeah, people, you were there. I was there. But what people, it's hard to get people to understand that so many shitty products and so much shitty software was created back then, all because of greed and because it was the mantra in Silicon Valley then, when I was there for a little bit, and then I came back to I went out there, and then I decided I didn't want to stay. I came back to Colorado. Yeah. Was that just get rich, just get rich? What was it back then that everybody wanted? I forgot. But anyway, and so it was just business, come up with a crazy idea, and it was like a hot potato model. Just don't be the last guy to hold on to this. And
oh man, yeah.
The VCs just flipped it to another company in their portfolio, and then took their fees out of it from the bank and whatnot, and that's how they made money. And generally, the last person holding it lost, and so there was all kinds of shitty products and software created because of that. And now. And so with this, with what we're seeing now, some of that will happen. We've already seen it, but I believe that if look, Yvon Chouinard at Patagonia never took one penny of venture capital. He built a great company. There's a lot of great little companies. And you don't have to be a big company to be great. And you can get big, but the way you do it is the way it's been done in my experience is just you build something that's so fantastic, like I said, that people would miss you if you're gone, and then you be in love with what you're doing, and then the rest will work out. We're in this period that is, this is going to make a dent. It's already making a dent. If anybody listening, you got to figure that what we've seen so far is we have changed. Crypto has changed how people pay for things. Oh my God, that's that is a big dent. And but yet this is only just scratching the surface. And when I started, in the late 80s, I just told myself that all I needed to do was just stay in and somehow not go broke. And the rest was just going to work out because I was just in it. And for devs and people who are getting started now, I encourage everybody to think the same way and just stay in there and just keep building and just keep doing great things. Be transparent. Tell people your problems. Tell people, I was on a AMA the other day, and the dev team, and I thought it was terrific. They said, "Hey, we have 13 months of capital in the bank where we could operate with no revenue." And I was like, "Yeah, great. That's a good sign." And you just tell that to people because there's so many people aren't doing that. This whole idea of Anon and all that, I get it. It's where we started, and I'm grateful for everything that's happened so far.
Yeah,
But
we're not anon.
yeah, I know that. And I don't believe that is in any way the model going forward.
I'm with you on that, and I'm also with you on the transparency thing too. It's just I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. It's nice to I'm actually glad that everyone's here. I kind of like. I want to learn out more. I want to learn more about all of our holders, because I really feel like working on this, like I'm working on it strongly. People are going to see that I'm working on it strongly, but I feel like having more people involved is going to be a kind of a nice thing about the project. Yeah, and the transparency is just huge. Thank you for that take, Spin. Whoops, I think we lost you there. Discord's been kind of reconnecting and disconnecting people. Well, you guys have known that I'm transparent. That's certainly one of the things that we do well. And I also think that there's a real correlation for that's why we've got such a great community and why everyone's here and supporting us right now. Which is why we have to keep doing more AMAs. Anybody else want to jump up, say hi? Or Remy, Theodoros, you guys have any questions you want to post in main chat, or you can say hi here, or golf. Luisja just came in. Hey, Luisja. Feel free to post if you have any questions at all. We accidentally got our times mixed up with another AMA that we'd done for moderators, and we started the AMA early. So if you're here for the 2 o'clock AMA, we might just go and do this all again. But we just did a 12 o'clock AMA. But I am down to do back-to-back AMAs if more people show up. Let's see. I'm silent. How many hours off was this AMA? So what happened was we had a 12 p.m. meeting yesterday for our moderators, and I accidentally put a reminder for me to start at 12 p.m. today for our AMA, but it was supposed to be 2 p.m. So we have currently been AMAing for about 2 hours, and right now is right about when everyone expected us to start. But I did record everything, which is really great. I just need to find the best place to put videos up. Chidora said, I actually thought I missed it by 12 hours. Google doesn't convert my times right. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we want to start doing these at a regular time every week, and we're going to start doing these weekly on Saturdays. Also, at the end of them, I'm going to, I'll sum up and do like what our big action items are for the week, so you guys all know. And it was interesting. We like everyone else, I think the holidays kind of slow me down a little bit, but I'm excited to get moving. Sub said, "Yeah, got the same. Curious, Josh, can you announce the time also in time zone CET? I'm from the Netherlands." Thanks indeed. CET, is that like GMT? There's so many different time zones. For the next one, yeah, what subs, what time is it right now in CET? I'm curious. 22:52, 11 p.m. Okay. So we're going to shoot for 11 p.m. CET next week. This is when I should have been doing it. Mea culpa. But that's a good sign, guys. It's because we actually scheduled a couple of AMAs, and we had a moderator meeting as well, which is why I got the timing slightly off on this one. But it is a sign that we are doing a lot, which is good. Let's see. Anyone else have any questions? Any questions on what we went over so far? Well, then I think that we're going to turn this into an informal chat, see if more people show up. Let's see. I think the first thing I'm going to do is, guys, thank you. Thank you. This has been an amazing AMA so far. It's really great having everyone here. I'm excited for what we're doing and for how quickly we should be able to get moving with some things like the 3D chickens, and start showing people what we're doing with the project and getting you guys excited about it. Well, between now and the next AMA that we do, one of the things that I'm looking to do is get the meta chickens going. As I mentioned, I've got a modeler. We're working hard on getting the rest of the team, or I should say I'm working hard on the last remaining pieces of the team to do the 3D chickens. And it's a normal process. It's just you have to go through. I'm going through the connections. I don't just want to get anyone. We're not using Fiverr people for this. I'm using industry people so that it's done professionally, and we have a really good asset going forward. So a bunch of the people who I was asking about wanting to connect to get some recommendations, like some of my students from back when I used to teach 3D. Some people I work with, like I showed you the video from Kevin, they are not available today, or they haven't been available over the holidays because some of them are just on break. Some of them, a couple of them got sick with COVID. So it's great that we've got a modeler, and I should be able to find a good rigger pretty quickly. And then we're going to go from there on building out our assets. It's one of these things that's going to happen sooner rather than later. One of the things I love about the things that we chose to do in the roadmap, like the store and this, are things that we can get moving on very fast. They're not like full games or anything, so we can see some quick movement, which I think can help you guys and other people get excited about the project. The other big thing is getting set up with more community involvement, like possible prizes for people having the chickens as their profile pics, possible prizes for certain collections of chickens. God, I can't stop looking at those two GIFs. It's really kind of distracting.
Should I just throw another GIF in chat?
Yeah, the dancing chicken up there is like in the kid going, "Let's go." I keep looking again. It's almost hypnotizing when it's the main thing that you're staring at for a while. Those are all things that we're going to be doing to up the value of this project, so that we start getting some movement on it. Golf asks, what exactly is the store going to consist of? So the store is going to be like a merch store, but it's where you can print from your own NFTs into a project. And more than that, I don't want to go too much into the tech, but imagine I'm also going to set up so that other projects can make a profit off the store. So basically, we could act like a service for other NFT projects to do their merch and to hopefully do stuff that's custom and advanced in tech that they can't do other places.
Just real quick, I think you worded it confusedly. You said you could print your own NFT on projects. I think you meant on merch.
Oh yes, on merch. So like for example, iGolf, you and only you would be able to print your special Silky NFT that you got, that I love so much. God, that seriously, man, those Silkies, those are some of my favorites from the sets. I think Breeze also. iGolf got the punk one. iGolf, did that answer your question on that? And anybody else have other questions for us here while we're here in AMA? Golf says yes. Yay, good. I'm glad. Really curious to see what happens next week when we start this on at the right time. And you know, like I'm pretty impressed that we started early. You know, if we started late, I'd be worried. We start early, which is, you know, potentially just as weird, but at least people know that, you know, we're here.
You're here early.
And we're here early. Excuse me. Well, if there's nothing else, I might turn off the recording on this and have this be just a fun regular chat instead. So let's see, guys. Thank you. We're so excited for this. I'm so excited so many people came out for the AMA, and we're just gonna keep going forward and delivering things that make you guys proud to hold your chickens. Do you like that, Bree? You want them to be proud to hold their chickens?
Yeah.
And of course, come back for future AMAs and future Bree hiccuping, because she does it every time we do an AMA.
Maybe it'll stop.
Love you, kitty. It's perfect. Bree, is there anything you want to say to everyone before we stop the recording for the AMA?
Just thank you guys for being here.
For holding your chickens?
Yeah.
Well, makes a Bree very happy that so many people are excited about the chickens. All right, guys. I am stopping the recording. Thank you all for listening to the AMA, and we'll be here next week.